The Audit of Shadows. Sloane and Arthur sat in the dim light of the archive room. It had been an exhausting day of searching through old records. Sloane looked at her notebook and sighed. "The preliminary findings are ready, but we need more data," she said. Arthur nodded, his eyes red from reading. He knew that their analysis of the company's growth was incomplete without the latest files. They had to compare several separate analyses from different years to see the truth. Arthur stared at a spreadsheet on his laptop, shaking his head. "I'm not getting it," he whispered. "There is a massive discrepancy between the bank statements and the internal ledger." He looked up at Sloane as she paced the room. "Sloane, would it be possible to slow down? You are moving through these documents too fast for me to keep up." Sloane stopped and looked around the cramped archive. "The room isn't big enough for all this work," she complained. She knew they needed to talk to the CEO, Valeria. Sloane wondered what Valeria's approach would be. Some people said she was friendly and approachable, but Sloane suspected that was just a mask to hide her secrets. The next morning, they walked toward Valeria's grand office. Sloane felt like an intruder. She knew her investigation was intrusive, but it was necessary to find the missing money. As they reached the door, Sloane paused. She didn't want to overstep any professional boundary, but she had to be firm. She knocked, and a cold voice invited them in. To their surprise, Valeria invited them to a business lunch. At the restaurant, the atmosphere was tense. Arthur looked at the menu and then at his bowl. "I'm afraid the soup is a bit too expensive for my budget," he joked nervously, trying to lighten the mood. Valeria didn't laugh. She looked at Sloane and asked, "Since your firm is so expensive, would it be possible to lower the price of your final report?" Sloane decided to be assertive. She was often blunt when she found evidence of a crime. "We cannot change our price, and we cannot change our findings," she said. Valeria narrowed her eyes. "I hope you don't intend to offend me, Sloane. Your tone is quite offensive." Sloane replied calmly, "I mean no offense, but the evidence is clear." Back in Valeria's office, the tension remained. The air was still and heavy. "Would you mind closing the window?" Sloane asked Arthur. "Yes. I'm sorry it's a bit hot here," Valeria interrupted, though she didn't look bothered by the heat at all. She seemed to be enjoying the discomfort of her guests. Sloane thought about the responsibility she carried. It was a heavy burden she had borne since the start of her career. She knew that some people perceived her as cold, but she simply refused to be weak. To lessen the impact of the truth would be a lie, and she would not do that for anyone. They were ready for the final meeting, but Arthur was late. Valeria checked her watch. "Don't you think we should wait for him?" she asked with a fake smile. Sloane hesitated. "Yes, would it be possible to wait for him? He has the digital keys to the files." Sloane knew she owed a favor to Arthur for his hard work, and she wouldn't start without him. Finally, Arthur arrived, and Sloane was ready to submit the final report. It was an exhaustive document that covered every detail. "I hope you have the humility to accept these results," Sloane said quietly. Valeria looked at the papers and sighed. "May I read the conclusion?" Valeria asked. Sloane nodded. "No, not at all. Go ahead." The truth was finally out,